I've had a lot of really, really bad ideas in my running life. One time, I decided to continue training for a marathon, even though I was rolled over by a fourth grader. There was also the time that I broke the most sacred rule of racing, which is, don't try anything new, because I thought I could shave off 30 seconds in a triathlon by forgetting to wear socks, by not putting on socks before the run. There was also the time that I thought it was a good idea to celebrate Runner's World Beer Week, literally. I also thought it was a good idea to try to get some kind of corporate sponsorship. And there was also the time that I thought I could make it up the wall in Tough Mudder.
Oh.
Not me.
But no matter how many bad ideas I have had, I will know. I will know.
It's not gonna stop.
Keep going. That's all I have. I will know that at least one idea turned out pretty well.
Yeah.
So I started this group in 2012 because I had a goal that I thought would be good. If I could break 30 minutes in a 5K, somehow that would validate my running. Somehow that would make me a real runner. Somehow that would make me feel not like a misfit. And it was the pursuit of that goal, really, that made me want to bring people together. And I had no idea what it was going to become. All I wanted to do was move from the back of the pack to the middle of the pack. That's all I wanted to do. And I hoped that maybe a few people would join me and somehow validate that a guy whose thighs froth like a venti cappuccino, that would somehow validate that I could do okay in this game. So, you know, I've had some tough goes. I've been tailed by race ambulances. I've been yelled at by middle school gym teachers. I've had plenty of DFLs. I've bloodied quite a few compression shorts. So I thought a sub 35 5K would be it. I thought that would be what I was after. But what I didn't know was that sub 30 has nothing to do with the time. Sub 30 has nothing to do with 29:59. We now have 3,500 members, and I can't really... I really can't speak for all of them, but I hope that what they feel is what I feel, which is that running has nothing to do, or so maybe some things to do, but not always. It doesn't always have to be about time and about distance and about goals, but it has to do with this. It has to do with us, and it has to do with helping each other and supporting each other. And I'll just tell you a quick story about something that they did for me that really changed my life and changed how I think about everything in this whole group. So I had a friend who somehow convinced me that it would be a good idea for me to complete an Ironman distance race, that was kind of stupid. But he convinced me we were going to do it, and we were going to train, and this group certainly knew about it. And I'll spare you all the details, but two things that really stood out for me is the day before I left to go to my race, I got a presentation where the group had put together a 12, 15-minute video with so many people just wishing me luck, telling me to get it, telling me that I could do it, and really saying that they were behind me. And for them to do that, it just, at that point, I knew I had a shot. I knew I had a shot. And the second thing that they did was, and I didn't know this at the time, but I think I knew it, was as I was running and as I was getting closer and closer to midnight, they had started a thread on the Facebook group, and they were cheering me, and they were pushing, and they were getting me there, and every minute. And there was a point in the thread that I was at, and I was going at a nice pace, nice, slow, easy, pushing the limit. And there was a point in the thread that was about the 13-mile mark of the marathon, and my pace had picked up, and it had gone from slow to just a little bit less slow, and everyone's like, "Yeah, pick it up, yeah, you got this." And I think it was Lonnie, my friend Lonnie, Team Neon, said BAMF. Okay, so I looked back at that and I was like, oh, that's really nice. Except for what they didn't know was that when I got to the 13-mile mark, it was where there was a turnaround. And so there was a guy who was about 10 minutes ahead of me. And when he was running, 10 minutes ahead of me, a woman came up to him, running up to him, desperately pleading him to move his butt because they were predicting he was not going to finish. So he was just freaking out. And I'm, really? So that was my fastest mile. So little did they know that I was not at BAMF, I was scared SHITLE. So what I wanted from that experience was I wanted to finish. I mean, that was certainly the goal. I wanted to finish. But the one thing I wanted from that day is I wanted a picture with my arms up, my hands up. I wanted the Ironman pose. I wanted it through the finish line. That's what I wanted. So I get to the finish line. I'm getting there. I put my arms up. I yell. I'm happy. I'm thrilled. I made it. Great. So go back, look at the race photos the next, whenever they come out. And obviously, all the race photos are terrible. Obviously, they're really terrible because Lycra. And they had 0 pictures of this. And I was so mad. You know, like we're all mad with the race pictures. I was so mad. So I didn't get any. But a couple months later, I went back and I looked back through, and I found one non-Lycra picture that I kind of liked. And it was this one when I was coming through, and I don't think you can tell. I don't think you can see it too well. But I think in that picture, I'm really tired, really relieved. But when I look back on it, I think that was the moment where the wave was lifted. I think that was the moment where I said,
we took some screenshots.
None of this matters.
Yeah.
You know, none of this matters that I have to do X or Y or Z. What matters was I could feel what was being given to me from everybody in this room and everybody in this club. And I am 100% serious that I know that they got me to that finish line with just barely 20 minutes to spare. So I thank you so much for doing that. That's what you are all about. But I didn't want to talk that much about myself, but because what I wanted to say was that I'm one person out of 3,500. There are 3,500 stories. There are 3,500 people here with their own goals, their own obstacles, their own challenges, their own pursuits that they're going after. And I think what represents the Sub 30 Club is the spirit that they have when they try to help people reach their goals. And I think certainly one of the big things that happened this year was the way that the group tried to rally around Leonardo. And Leonardo is here tonight. He shared some of his health struggles with all of us in the group. And I think, you know, one of the certainly most defining moments for me was when he posted this picture, and he posted his mileage in the halls of the hospital. And so many people, obviously we cannot fight for him, but I think what happened then and after that was what this group is about, that we could try to do what we could do to help provide some kind of support, even if it's just a little bit. So, Leonardo. So, and the group is filled with people who are doing these amazing things, and I'm just so impressed and honored to be a part of it. And I feel kind of weird being up here because I'm not someone who's in any position to give any kind of running advice, right? I'm in no position to give any training advice, any running advice whatsoever. The only time I ever went sub 30 in a 5K, I had this for breakfast. So you know, I don't know. But I will say that if I can try to summarize what we're about and what this group is about, I do think it kind of comes down to these things. It's about being epic and being strong, together. And I think that that's really what that's what we're about. I think that's what we're about. Because epic means things to different people. Epic can be long, it can be fast, it can be conquering hills, it can be running with old friends, running with new friends, having all different experiences. Epic means something to everyone. And I think strong is the same way. Strong can mean doing hills, doing yasos, doing length, doing distance, whatever it is. Strength is what we want to make it. And those we all define. But the thing that we don't necessarily, we can't argue with this together. And I think that's what's been so important as part of this group, is being epic and being strong together. I would love to go down a list and name every single person here and every single person in the club, because you have inspired so much with your strength, with your passion, with your humor, with your pursuit of goals. And I literally started this by just naming everybody, and I thought that would kind of get crazy. So I really wish I could name everybody here. But today was also kind of an epic day. I mean, everybody. This wasn't just today. This is everybody. There are so many people and so many great things that are happening in this group. Today was a great day. I know there were a bunch of PRs today for people. I know Chris had one, Isabel had one, Sarah had one. There were a bunch. There were some. There was another some. So, it was just a great day all around. People on community, flags were flying, and I think the group was just such a spirit. Everybody at Runners World who came up to me said, the club's incredible, you're doing great things. So that's all a tribute to you and what you do. I do want to take a second to recognize two people, because while I get to stand here because I had an idea, it really is about all of you and everybody, but it's really there are two people who I think have kind of taken this for sure and really taken hold of it and embraced it as being the soul and the backbone of the Sub 30 Club. So first is Lonnie St. John. So I first met Lonnie virtually when his profile picture on Twitter showed up and he was holding a picture of a story I wrote about pancakes for Runner's World. And I said, either this dude is really crazy or he's amazing. And it turns out he's both. So that's great. But what Lonnie has done, not only has he done some amazing things in his own personal life, he's lost 100 pounds, his PRs are ridiculous. He has become the engine of Sub 30. He is our face and our spirit and our logistical leader and put so much into it. And for that, I thank him. So if you can come up here for a quick second. And then, of course, Laurie Mama Canning. She's our soul and our spirit of the club. I met Laurie when I started. The first vlog I did for Runners World was called The Marathon Virgin, and her login name was Curtain Lady, and she always kept commenting on my posts. And I was like, who's this crazy person who keeps commenting on my posts? But she always understood, and she always supported me. She always pushed me when I needed. And she would always kind of have my back. There were a few times where somebody would jump in on Runner's World and say, you have no business writing for Runner's World because you're so damn slow. And it was Laurie who came in and said, in essentially these words, get the bleep out of here. And for that, I'm very thankful. And again, she as well is a beast of a runner. She is PRing like crazy this past year, and she is always the voice of the person who is going to support someone in their goals. And she doesn't take the spotlight because she's always putting the spotlight on other people. So thank you so much, Laurie. So the last thing I want to say is I just want to thank the folks at Runner's World, especially David Willey and Chris Kraft, and initially Mark Ramey, who was the first person who kind of gave me entree into hopefully having a voice for maybe a group of runners that didn't have a voice maybe previously. And I'm, again, flattered to be able to do that. And I hope that what we can do in that space is capture some of the angst and the accomplishment that happens for all kinds of runners. And I think the thing about it is that sometimes it's not about the back of the pack or the middle of the pack or the front of the pack. It's just about being part of the pack. So thank you very much.